Today we're talking about the 3 scariest words in knitting. Decreasing in pattern. Why it's not as bad as you think, and 3 tips to make sure your next stitch goes off without a hitch. I'm Steph, this is Steph's Fixation Station. Let's knit. Decreasing in pattern is a technique often used when making sweaters, jumpers, or hats, and it's a way to ensure that whatever pattern you're using extends all the way out to the edges of your work. So when you're making a jumper, that means that the pattern goes all the way to the edge, even when you're decreasing around the armholes, or when you're making a hat, that the pattern still exists even as you come to a point to the top of your hat. So for example, in the current project I'm working on now, I've already knit the front panel of my jumper, and you can see there's a beautiful wheat motif throughout the project, and I need to decrease in pattern as I decrease around the armholes to ensure that that wheat motif is seen all the way to the top of the neckband of the jumper. So to give you all the skills you need, I'm going to be walking you through how to decrease in pattern at a beginner, intermediate and advanced level, and give you tips along the way to make sure that your work turns out how you want it to every time. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so if you've made it this far into the video and you don't know what decreasing is, let alone decreasing in pattern, basically what that means is you're going to reduce the amount of stitches either on either end or on only one end so that your work starts to decrease in size. And we do this for a lot of reasons in knitting, but most of the time it's for structural reasons, so decreasing around armholes or around the neck. And all we want to do to decrease this, we're going to knit 2, so we'll knit these first 2, so this stitch and this stitch, and then we'll pull the first stitch over the second stitch to decrease by 1. But you can see there's a pattern in my work. So this is seed stitch, which is just a really simple pattern repeat of knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and then on the wrong side row is you knit the purls and purl the knits. So you can see this is a knit stitch here, so I'm going to do a purl stitch. However, if we would just go straight in and purl 1, and then knit 1, and then bring that stitch over, that's how you do a standard decrease. You can see that that's sort of made a little bit of a bump. And when that bump is across a large bit of work, you end up with something that looks like this, and you can sort of see the steps in the work. Now, to avoid that, the easiest way to avoid this step-looking decrease is to actually slip the first stitch purlwise. And when you slip the first stitch purlwise, you actually end up with something that looks a little bit more like this. You can see this is a much more rounded edge than this very jagged step stitch. So what I'm going to do is slip the first stitch purlwise at the beginning of every row, and I'm going to go back and forth and I'll show you what that looks like. So this will be our decrease. So we'll slip that first stitch, then we go into a knit, so we just knit it like normal, and then we're going to do our decrease. So we'll just bring that first stitch over. There we go. Sorry, our next stitch is a knit stitch, so we're going to purl it. So we'll purl, and I'll meet you back when we're at the beginning again. There we go, we've decreased 1 time on either side, and I'll just do a couple of rows so you can see what it looks like. So there you go, you can see I've decreased the pattern down almost to a point, and you can see we've got nice smooth edges, and that's because we've slipped the first stitch purlwise for each row, and it's looking really nice and really smooth and really clean. Now, obviously for this pattern, because it's just knit 1, purl 1, it's really easy to tell which stitch to do in the next row, because if you've just decreased 1 and you go to the next row, you just minus 1, so you're obviously on the other stitch, right? So if you've just knit a knit in the row below and then you've decreased 1, then your starting stitch on the next row is going to be purl. But what happens if you have more than a 2-stitch repeat? So come with me to the intermediate section of the video and I'll talk to you about how to handle patterns that are a little bit more complex. In this second example I have here of a pattern, you can see at first glance it looks really complex. There's 2 different colors and there seems to be a lot going on between the rows. So the easiest way to deal with a pattern like this is just to isolate it down. So if we look at this green row here only, you can actually see that there's a couple of things that pop out. There's these big triangles that I can see that are done in knit, and then in the inverse you can see that there's these big purl triangles that they're sitting right on top. And it's the same for the cream row as well. And so the easiest way to decrease as we're moving in this pattern, rather than trying to -2 off the end of the pattern as it's written down in every single row, is just to look at the row before, see what was done, and then work out what needs to happen next. So if I pull my work nice and tight, you can see that I've already knit 3 rows in the green. The first row is just a wrong side purl row. The second row is knit 5, purl 1, knit 5, purl 1, repeating. So this next row is going to be knit 3, purl 3. But we want to make sure when we're decreasing that our triangles stay in the right spot. So the easiest way to do this is go to the odd man out. So that's this purl guy here, and go the next row up from him, if that's purl 1, will be to purl 3. So these 3 will be purls. So then we'll count 3 knits. So that means we're starting with a purl, but because we're decreasing, this one will disappear. And I'll show you what that looks like now. So like we did in our first one, we're going to slip the first stitch purlwise, give that a bit of a tug, knit those 3, but we're going to decrease 1. So that's our decrease, and then knit 2 and 3. And all the way to the end, making sure that we cast off this last stitch. So I'll get there and I'll come back to you. So now that I'm back, I've decreased at the start and the end of my row on both the wrong and right side of my work. And what that means is we've decreased 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So now, if we were doing this pattern by reading the pattern, we have to basically subtract the amount of stitches that we've decreased off the start of the pattern to make sure those triangles are staying in place throughout. So the tip for this one is really to learn your pattern and read what's underneath. So you can see I'm now at 3 purl stitches, so I need to go to 5 purl stitches. So I can already tell that this first stitch is going to be a knit followed by 5 purls. And I haven't even looked at the work, but if we do the maths, you can see it down the side here that we need to start with a knit stitch. So once again, we'll do a slip 1. I'm going to slip it purlwise, then purl 1, cut that stitch off, and then keep going to the end. Now I've got 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you're working like this, it's really easy to double check. So you can just look and see, is my triangle in the right spot? Is the center of the triangle all the way down? And I can see yes. So I know that I'm doing my pattern correctly. And it just stops you from having to look back at the pattern every single time you need to do a decrease. I mean, obviously the only thing you want to double check is that you're doing the right amount of decreases in every row. That's something you really need to keep track of. And there you go, you can see that we've decreased in pattern, but you can see that my triangles are still intact. So both the knit triangles and the purl triangles are still popping out. And there you go, you can see I've bound off my work all the way to the end, but you can see I've decreased off while maintaining that pattern down below. You can see my triangles are still popping out up here and everything looks correct even though we've been decreasing, and that's exactly what you want. And that's tip number 2, to read the row below so that when you're decreasing, you know exactly what you need to do without looking at the pattern. Okay, so we've made it to the advanced pattern, and this is going to be the most complex to decrease. Now, as you can see in this pattern, there's little holes in the work, and those holes are called eyelets. And basically we make eyelets by knitting 2 stitches together, immediately followed by either yarning over or yarning round the needle to make the hole. And that's what's making this beautiful pattern pop out here. However, that makes it really difficult when we're trying to decrease. If we decrease on the wrong side row at either end of the work and decrease to a point like we have for both of the previous examples, we are going to come to a point in this pattern where the first stitch on the row is a knit 2 together. And then immediately followed by a yarn round needle, which is essentially an increase. And so to combat that, we're going to have to actually decrease on the front of the work as well as the back of the work to make sure that the number of stitches that we have actually matches what the pattern expects us to do. So I've broken this pattern down onto a smaller piece of yarn so that I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Our pattern repeat should be knit 2 together, yarn forward, knit 2 together, yarn round needle, purl, purl. But because we only have an odd number of stitches, it's going to have to be knit, yarn forward, knit 2 together, yarn round needle, purl, purl. So we'll actually end up creating another stitch here. We'll end up with 4 stitches rather than 3. So once we knit the first stitch and we create that second stitch, we're actually going to pass the first stitch over the second stitch anyway, just to make sure we maintain the correct number of stitches. So I'll show you what that looks like. So the first thing we would be doing is knitting our first stitch. And remember, this should be a knit 2 together, a yarn forward, and then we've got our stitch here. I'm going to go ahead and bring that over the top, and you see it's created that extra stitch. And then I'm going to knit 2 together, then yarn round needle into a purl. So this is our purl here, and you can see by casting that extra stitch off, we still only have 3. So we have the correct number of stitches. And that is how you account for increases and decreases in your work, where you end up in a situation where the pattern starts on either an increase or the decrease. So if you continue the decreases in that fashion, this is what the work would start to look like. So you can see my wheat pattern is still there, but you can see the smooth decrease is starting to pop out. So that's going to look really good when it's all finished up. So that's it. That is point number 3, which is making sure that you account for those decreases and increases with the eyelets to make sure you're decreasing consistently across your rows. And there you go, guys. It's really as simple as that. Today we've covered slipping the first stitch purlwise to make sure our edges stay neat, learning to read the pattern in the row below so that we don't get caught up in the numbers, and making sure that we account for increases and decreases in our pattern so that we decrease the right amount in every row. Thanks for sticking with me today, guys. I hope you've picked up some handy hints so that the next time you see the words decrease in pattern, there's not a chattering tooth or a shaking boot in sight. I'm Steph. This has been Steph's Fixation Station. If you've enjoyed this, give us a comment or a like. We'd love to have you join the family. Thanks for watching.